It's 2:16 a.m. on the 10th of the 10th, 2020, and this upload is for the interests of universal light workers. And the upload I'm going to share about is with regard to my circumstances of human rights abuses, as I'm sharing throughout this documentary of Sad Sign of the Times. So basically the matter I'm raising is with regard to the individuals that have been dismantling my child and I and our spiritual gifts, light and blessings since 2016. Now, these people seem to think, as I've mentioned previously, that this endeavour of theirs is as simple as walking into a Cartier store and picking up a few diamond jewels for a few million. But in this case, not even have they just decided to treat it as a candy store, they've also treated it as a playground for very dangerous offences that they have caused, not only human rights abuses and offences against the Constitution, but also very serious exploitation from which they have developed, as I've mentioned in previous uploads, commodities for their enterprises that involves exploitation of my gifts, light and blessings, and all that I gave birth to and created single-handedly throughout my spiritual experience. And that was from the journeys at home and abroad and the masters that I met on those journeys. Now, there have been individuals in the collective, as I've mentioned earlier, that are changing the plot, the scene and the storyline, and they have done so quite often throughout the past 4 years. The issue I'm raising in this matter is the issue of those aspirants that are ascending under a false pretext or context, as the case may be, and the matter of these individuals not being authentic and not actually of the purpose or of the identity that I have the entitlements to and that I am after achieving on my spiritual journey as a sacred sentient royal. The issue of individuals, as I've mentioned, trying to rewrite the plot in my hometown county, Tralee County, Kerry, drew a lot of attention to spiritually minded individuals in the summer of 2018, 2019, when this collective drew attention to itself with regard to the gifts that I have ownership of and that they have been looting. So the current matter is with regard to the individuals that are trying to claim ownership and authority in a position that they have actually just trampled on. They've not only transposed or transplanted or extricated from me and transplanted into this current abode to cause further spiritual violence and bodily integrity damages with their new developments that they had no consent to, but also to not only trespass onto my property of my ancestors and my marriage, but also to claim to be of a spiritual identity that they are not authentically of. So basically, the matter I'm raising is with regard to also the individuals that are of political or of medicinal or healthcare or political practitioners and professionals that are assisting in all of this endeavour, and their role that they've played in assisting and facilitating offences against my constitutional rights, and how the script has been rewritten throughout the past 4 years with slander and disinformation. Now, in the context of being a sacred, this is quite serious, especially when they're espousing to be of an authentic spiritual identity, when in fact they are a fraud, spiritual frauds. We all know about them, and some people are cocooning themselves to acclimatise and to accustom themselves and to ascend in the past 2 to 3 years to become what I have achieved over a decade ago, if not even before then, 20 years ago. Some people are just born with these gifts. And when you're a royal, some special little add-ons are there as well. So it's always exciting with the people that you encounter and the people that you meet along the way. Some people, you know, have, as we know, always something to tell us or show us, or, you know, something to learn from. So the point I'm making is how these newbies, rookies, in the past 2 to 3 years have caused an awful furore and a farce and a huge disrespect to the Human Rights Declaration in every aspect, but in particular with regard to the issue of treason that's occurring against my royal bloodline. That's identity theft. And there are authentic and inauthentic individuals, and the individuals that have been of isolationism and of these kind of tactics of interference, obstruction, withholding information, poverty, all of these kind of tactics that I've endured, and preventing the relevant state and not the relevant state, well, the relevant state agencies and the relevant bodies from fulfilling their obligations to my royal title, which has been completely disrespected, while these individuals are exploiting and developing and not respecting. So the issue of people being a fraud and trespassing onto property and claiming to be of a new era is all very disrespectful to the authenticity of the original nature of what they have dismantled, disrespected, and basically it's what is occurring at the moment. So as I've mentioned, there are healthcare providers that have trespassed onto my personal space, my private property, and they insist, even though they don't have an official authentic role or legal role with me, they have still persisted on intruding, and they have disrespected the Hippocratic Oath also. So this is all a part of the Human Rights Declaration issue and my constitutional rights. And as I have a clean, spotless track record, this is all very serious for human rights and humanitarians, especially with regard to those